change? Your background is biochemistry.
Yeah.
How to change to engineering?
That's a good question. So, are they going to record?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, good. Because of the program I went to, it was not difficult at all. Some programs only accept you if you have an undergraduate in civil engineering or environmental engineering. The program I went to accepted lots of majors. Even at Purdue, we accept majors, chemistry majors, chemical engineering majors, biology majors. As long as you have a STEM background, we actually accept you because there's emphasis areas in environmental engineering that people can really accelerate if they have a good background in that one area. So for me, it's easy because I'm in a big program where I teach the environmental chemistry courses. So I'm very specialized in kind of what I do. But over the years, I've learned, because I've taken hydraulics courses in graduate school, I got more courses in civil engineering as a graduate student than most civil engineering undergraduates do. So that by itself made it very easy for me. The one thing that is harder is to get registration, to get professional licensure. Even though I could have done it, I just didn't do it at the time. Now I kind of regret. I wish I would have gone through, taken the test and everything. I had a chemistry major that got his master's in environmental engineering at civil engineering with me, and he worked for a consulting company, and he took the engineering test and got registered as a professional engineer with a master's in environmental engineering. So it's even doable to do that. The courses I missed out are things like structural engineering, which even if you have a chemical engineering background going to environmental, you don't have. So I didn't really miss out on too much other than taking statics and dynamics and a few miscellaneous, materials courses and things like that. So I had a better chemistry background than most of the environmental engineers. So actually, for some of my courses, it was actually easier than a lot of the civil engineers that were doing environmental engineering.
The impact have this event in the city and the students?
Oh, well, it's a good question. I haven't attended some of the other conferences, but I think in similar conferences where I've seen the whole thing, I think for the students it's very good because you get to hear from other speakers with different perspectives on things and you get to see the things that you're learning in class have application. That it's not, their teachers are not just teaching you to be teaching you, they're actually teaching you things that you will learn and practice when you graduate. So I think that's the best, the easiest, the clearest benefit for the students is they get actually stimulated to do more, to learn more about what their profession is going to be.
How do you think Colombia needs to start to monitoring very well to improve the water quality?
So this is an interesting question because you do need to monitor, but you also need basic infrastructure like wastewater treatment plants. And a lot of that is also connecting parts of the cities because the city also may discharge multiple places. So it's like, how do you build a plant and take all of this flow and combine it? So it's amazing because environmental engineers design the plants, but the structural engineers build, they design the structural parts of it. Electrical engineers are involved. Every form of engineering is involved to do the civil infrastructure for wastewater treatment, for drinking water treatment, and everything like that. But it's also very expensive. But it kind of needs to be done. It comes back to policies, what the government is interested in pursuing, and it's like, how much do you value your resources? Do you want the river to be clean? How long, what timeline do you, and the answer for that should always be yes. So the next question is the timeline. you know, is it a 20-year timeline? Is it like, no, we need to build this plant in the next few years so that in 5 years the river is clean. So it's prioritization of things. But what drives the policy is the monitoring to make sure that people understand that, yes, this river should be cleaner. And if it is cleaner, this is what will happen, you know, the downstream. Because rivers are often, you discharge in Bogota, but downstream somebody's using the same water. So we did this study in Indiana where we looked at how much of the river water flow of the Wabash River, which flows through our town, how much of that river flow is due to water discharge from power plants, from wastewater treatment plants, and everything else. 15% in Indiana, 15% of the flow of the Wabash River is due to wastewater discharge, and the other 85% goes through power plants, which means the whole river at some point had been pumped up into a city and delivered back to it, or through a power plant and delivered to it. So it's like major infrastructure to do all of this, you know, delivery of water to cities. So that means that, well, you should also have the infrastructure to treat the water that's going out, because what you discharge is also being used downstream by the next city. Okay, it's just that the next city is not as big as Bogota, but it's still being used downstream.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah.